Hey guys, what is going on today? BOJoeKO here, and welcome back to episode number 4 of our Flyers Talk podcast, the only podcast on YouTube where we talk about the Philadelphia Flyers and nothing else. I think I'm going to make that the intro from now on. Sound good with you guys? Sounds good with me. I pretty much say it every single time because I never know what to say after that, but you know what? I like the ring off the tongue that intro gives to the podcast. I don't know, maybe I'll make it on a t-shirt. Would you guys buy it? Probably not. Anyway, we're back finally for episode number 4. It's been a long time since I've actually had a chance to record the podcast for you guys. Like I said, I meant to hopefully get podcasts out every 2 weeks or so when the regular season starts, and how'd that work out for me? Not really too good. I guess I put some more priorities in, the NHL 16 stuff for the year. Didn't really concentrate on the podcast all too much, but that's kind of how I expected it to go. I expected to do a lot more podcasts, but then I expected the NHL 16 stuff and, finding a job and stuff like that to be a much bigger priority, and that's how it ended up being. But we're near the holidays. Everybody's kind of calming down a bit, so not too much is going on around the holidays. So I got some time to just sit right down and record episode number 4 of the podcast for you guys, which we're going to go all the way back to the beginning of the season and review every single game. Just kidding. I can only sit down and maybe do these podcasts for an hour for you guys. That would take like a good 3 hours. I would do it, but let's face it, I got stuff to do. You guys got stuff to do. You do not want to sit around for 3 hours listening to this podcast. That's for damn sure. So, you guys remember that you can use the hashtag Flyers Talk on Twitter or in the comment section of this video, podcast, whatever, and we'll definitely take some questions from there. Also, remember, guys, that this podcast is available now on SoundCloud, so the link to my SoundCloud is in the description. Once again, for those people that don't want to listen to this on YouTube and you want to continuously listen to it without having your phone on your screen or your screen on your phone open on the entire time while the video plays, you can listen to it on SoundCloud, walk around, work out, do your thing, and listen to the podcast. So, I got a couple topics that I want to bring to you guys today about this team. There's a good bit of topics that I definitely want to talk about. Like I said, I usually don't have topics written down, but today I actually took the time to maybe write down a good bit of topics that I want to talk about to you guys. I'm going to pretty much just go over the last 3 games that the Flyers have faced. So Carolina, Vancouver, and Columbus. I'm recording this on Sunday, December 20th. So Monday's game against St. Louis will be the last one for a whole week until they go out west to play some Western Conference teams in the Western Conference, obviously. But I'm gonna take those 3 games in depthly, talk about some things, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. So the first thing off the top that I wanted to bring to you guys' attention is I actually personally went to my first Flyers game this year, and I honestly had a blast. It was on that Tuesday game versus the Carolina Hurricanes. And now, people, when they go to hockey games, you guys can let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going to be throwing a ton of questions at you guys today if you want to answer them down below, or if you want to just hit me up on Twitter, get a discussion going or something like that. But when it comes to hockey games, I haven't gone to a Flyers game in a good 3 years. It's been a long time since I've actually had the opportunity to go to one, and I honestly had a blast. Upper deck, which is not bad. Row 11, center ice. It was really good, to say the least. Some people have fun sitting down low. Some people have fun watching games sitting in the corners. In my personal opinion, from a person who likes to play the NHL video games a lot, there's something that I maybe you guys feel the same way as well. There's something about watching a hockey game from high up above that makes it so much more intricate, and it makes it more fun for a person that I think plays the video game a lot, will understand the game a whole lot more, because when you're sitting up high, second deck, and like I said, where I was sitting, row 11, like I think at the Wells Fargo Center, I think row 15 is it's either row 15 or there might be a farther back row than that, but I'm pretty sure it's row 15. I think row 15 is the highest against the back wall in the Wells Fargo Center. Me and my friend Tyler were sitting row 11, which is not too bad, to be perfectly honest. It's right in the middle between the upper decks. So it's really good visuals right there. And honestly, it doesn't even feel like I was sitting that far away. When somebody says like, oh, I'm sitting upper decks, or I'm sitting up in the 200 section, or of whatever arena you're going to. When you're actually there and watching the game, it honestly does not feel like you're sitting that far away, to be perfectly honest. And like I said, from a person that I play the video game a lot, I play NHL on overhead mode. And just the fact that I'm playing the game on overhead, and then when I'm watching a real life game in overhead, it's almost exactly the same. Like, you could put a controller in my hands at the actual game and it'll be like, wow, it's like I'm actually playing the video game. Because when you're sitting down low, it's hard to see like the lineups. I'm sure you'll be able to see the players a lot closer. You'll be engaging in the play on the hits and all that kind of stuff. But when you're sitting up high, you really get to see all the formations of like the defensemen, the forwards, players that are open all the time. You can just like point it out in your head, be like, oh, he's going to pass to that guy down low. Okay, that opens up the guy at the point. It's just so intricate and things like that. I have a knack to almost call the game like play by play when I'm actually sitting up high in the thing. And honestly, I like that. You guys can let me know. Would you rather watch, like, if you play the games, if you don't play the NHL game, that's perfectly fine. But if you're at a hockey game, where do you guys prefer to sit? Do you like to sit down low? Do you like to see the players and, the plays down low? Or do you like to sit up higher so that you can see, all the formations, all the players, like all the different strategies and things like that they have lined up there? I honestly love sitting up top. It's one of my favorite things. So, going away from that, I had an awesome time. Flyers won that game 4-3. Ghost, he is an absolute monster. I'm going to talk about him later on a good bit. But actually, no, we'll take this whole thing game by game. There was a very certain circumstance that happened in this game that I will definitely get to after we talk about the Columbus game. But this game was actually a really, really fun game to watch. It was a back and forth game. I saw a hat trick from Jeff Skinner. We saw a fight. We saw the Flyer. We saw the game. And hold on, trying to analyze it. Hold on. I saw a hat trick. It was a back and forth game. We saw a fight, and we saw an overtime winner. That's what it was. I was about to say and a shootout, but I forgot the game ended in overtime. So honestly, that was the full package of a hockey game. Flyers won that 4-3. Jeff Skinner got his second hat trick in, I believe, 3 games since playing for the Hurricanes and teams that he played against. So that was his second hat trick in 3 games, which is really impressive. But still, he scored on the first shot that game too. Neuvirth looked a little bit shaky in that he made a couple good saves, but who got the goals in this game? I think Voracek did. Did Voracek score a goal this game? He did. Jake scored a goal. Braden Shen scored a goal. Sean Couturier scored a goal. And then Ghost got the overtime winner. Yeah, Coots' goal was pretty weird. He pretty much shot it on net. Eddie Lack saved it. Rebound came right off of Slavin's leg and bounced right into the net. And then Ghost got the overtime winner. Shayne Gostisbehere. What can you say about this guy, man? I know we haven't done a podcast in a while, but ever since getting the call up, he has just been an absolute force on this team. First rookie defenseman in the NHL ever to get 3 overtime game-winning goals in only his 17th game. I believe he is now tied. He's not tied for second. I think he is in second place in the rookie scoring race and for defenseman behind Colton Parayko from the St. Louis Blues, who they are going to play on Monday again. I believe he's in second, and he's in second in the scoring race, and he's played he's only played half as many games as Parayko has, which is ridiculous to say the least. I just don't see it when straight, because that's the big thing that I really had to ask people. I did a poll on this on Twitter. Is that when Mark Streit comes back, what do you have to do? What do you have to do? What is going to be the course of action that you take when Mark Streit comes back to this team from the injury reserve? The way I look at it, there's 3 things you could do. You could either send Shayne Gostisbehere back down to the minors, which in my opinion would be a very stupid decision on account of how he's playing. You can send Brandon Manning back down, which would be a viable option. However, he would have to risk waivers. Now, would there be any team that could be interested in Brandon Manning? Yes and no. Do I think other teams might want him? Yes and no. I don't know. I think that would be a good risk to take to see if any team would actually claim Brandon Manning. It would be interesting if any team does. I wouldn't see it happening because I don't see Brandon Manning as a NHL caliber defenseman anymore. I really see him as that seventh defenseman role, just to go in and out of the game every now and then. But the way that Hackstall is playing Ghost, he's playing him alongside of Manning because they've had experience in the AHL, and it makes sense. So I guess Manning is bringing out the best in Gostisbehere, as weird as that sounds, but that could be plausible. So you could either do that, or you could send down Scott Laughton. Scott Laughton does not have to risk waivers. Lutz has been playing okay this year. He did get that nice goal against the Columbus Blue Jackets, which we'll get to. But Laughton has been playing okay. He hasn't really shown his offensive side yet. He's still seems to be that defensive type role. Once again, Laughton is falling. Laughton has the misfortune of being paired up with the line mates of RJ Umberger, and who's he on the line with? He's on the line with Matt Reed, right? Yeah, so Laughton has the unfortunate circumstance of being paired with RJ Umberger and Matt Reed again. Same thing will happen with Sean Couturier this year, but look what happens when you pair Sean Couturier with Wayne Simmons and Jacob Voracek. That line gets it done. So that seems to be working it out for them. But those are the three options that you have when Strike comes back from injury reserve, because you can't keep them. The roster moves have to be made. You either send down Manning, send down Ghost, or you send down Laughton. Whatever the case, I would either risk the waivers on Manning and send him down, or send down Laughton, and then you could play Vinny Lecavalier if you so choose, and then you can move one of the depth guys up a line. You can move probably Van de Velde or Belmar up to the. Or you can even put Vinny on the third line because he is technically a center, so that could work out eventually. And so pair up Vinny Lecavalier, Matt Reed, and RJ Umberger. What could possibly go wrong? I could tell you what, three guys that don't know how to play defense, that's what could go wrong. But anyway, I digress. So, like I said, Ghost got that game-winning goal against the Carolina Hurricanes. He's been studly this year. I just don't see why, or any particular reason why Ghost would get called down in any particular fashion. So that's just my thought on it. Next game comes into Vancouver. Now, going off of Carolina's game where Michael Neuwirth, he stopped. He did let up 3 goals. Mason hasn't played a game for the Flyers, and I think over like a week or a week and a half. There was speculation that Mace might be dealing with an injury of some sorts because he had to take some time off for personals. He wasn't really playing all too well, and there might have been some issues there, but Mason kind of silenced the critics there against a struggling Vancouver Canucks team that was, they were looking pretty good at the beginning of the season, but now they've really, really dropped off. I mean, their goal scoring is not there. They're having troubles on their defense. They're dealing with a shite ton of injuries. So the Vancouver Canucks were struggling, and what does Mason do? He comes right in there after almost a week or 2 weeks of not playing a game. He goes in there and gets a 2-0 shutout of the Canucks. So that's just karma in and of itself. It's just karma. It's just great karma. Goes in there, gets a 2-0 shutout. This was a good game. It was an okay game to watch. A lot of Canucks fans on Twitter chirping back and forth. It was pretty nice. Like I said, a lot of BS penalties, but I'll get to that eventually. And then we get to not really much to talk about in this game. I didn't forget who got the 2 goals against this game. Let me see. Box score, because I am on my computer. Let's see who got the goals. Roth got a goal. That's right. He tipped that past the point shot from Medvedev. And then Couturier got an assist from Wayne Simmons and Jacob Voracek. Pretty much just like a scramble in front of the net there. So Coots and Raffle got the only 2 goals of that game. And 8 waffles for breakfast, as I usually do. Jacob Markstrom was in that game. He played pretty good. Played pretty good for the Canucks. Not bad. But, that was that game. Not really too much to talk about. Mason goes in there and gets a shutout. And then the Flyers go into Columbus yesterday, and they lose 3-2. Flyers have not won a game in Columbus in over a decade. That's pretty ridiculous. They did come back and tie the game late, though, to force overtime, which was nice. Jacob Voracek and Scott Laughton. 2 nasty snipes in this game. Laughton coming in from the right side, snipes it. Water bottle gets thrown off the back of the net. And then Jacob Voracek comes in there and snipes it far glove side on Eunice Korpisalo. Another rookie goaltender. We give him his first freaking NHL win. And as I said on Twitter, the Philadelphia Flyers making rookie goaltenders look like all-stars since the year 2000. Flyers always have a knack for giving some team like his first, whether it's the kid's first NHL goal, whether it's his first NHL shutout or first NHL win or something along those lines. Flyers have a knack for doing that, but they salvaged a point from the Blue Jackets nonetheless. And over the past, so far this month, the Flyers, through the month of December, they are, 2-1? Let's see, so 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 2-1-1, 3-1-1, 3-2-1, 4-2-1, 5-2-1, 5-2-2. So they're 5-2-2 in the month of December right now, which is not too bad. I believe they currently sit at 35 points, I want to say. Let's see, NHL standings. I believe they sit at 35 points. They are at 35 points with a record of 14, 12, and 7. They are 2 points ahead of the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is always nice to see. 6-2-2 in their last 10, actually. So they're 1 point behind the New Jersey Devils, which is 1 point behind the Devils. And the wild card race, they are currently how many points behind? So who has the wild card right now? That would be held by Ottawa and Florida. So they're 3 points behind the wild card as well. So for the last wild card spot, which, is not too terrible. Obviously, we've still got a lot of hockey left to play. But as we go into this, now that all these games are pretty much taken care of, Flyers got a shootout loss because Simmons was the only person that scored in the shootout because we don't have younger players, and everybody on our team does the exact same moves over and over again in the shootout. It's pretty ridiculous. But now we can talk about all three of these games in review and why I personally, as a Flyers fan, am incredibly unhappy with the so-called refereeing in these three games. I'm going to bring up the first thing. It's going to be the most blatant one. I'm going to bring it up right now. And this particular instance happened twice to Wayne Simmonds in both Tuesday's game and Saturday's game. First off, we'll go to Tuesday's game, the one game that I was at. The refereeing in this game was, everybody was kind of complaining about the penalties in this game. There were a lot of sketchy interference calls. There were a bunch of sketchy tripping calls and hooking calls and all that kind of stuff. Everybody in the arena was losing their shit over the penalties and things like that. And I'm sitting there in the fans and I'm like, okay, I can see why he called that. Okay, I can see why he called that. Yeah, I can see why he called that. Sure. The only call that I did not agree with in that Tuesday's game against the Hurricanes was there was, I think, an interference call on Scott Laughton really, really early in the game where he kind of threw a body check when the guy had the puck at his feet and he got called for interference because he didn't have control of the puck. That was the only call I didn't agree with. There are a bunch of other calls later in the game that I kind of agree with. Medvedev got, I think, 2. He got the one tripping call, which nobody was really, they weren't really agreeing with it because it seemed like the player fell down, but on second look on the replay, it looked like Evgeny Medvedev kind of slew-footed him in a way, so I guess they could do that. Hooking calls, all that kind of stuff. There are a bunch of debatable calls, but nothing I really had a problem with other than that Lawton call earlier in the game, so I'm not going to let that go. However, that was the only one I didn't really agree with, but then we'll get to these two ones. It's just that the officiating has been very, very bad for the Flyers in these past 3 games. I don't know what the referees are looking at. There's just been lots of non-calls. There's just been a shit ton of non-calls for the Flyers. It seems like for a penalty to be in favor of the Flyers, it has to be blatant, and the referee has to either be blind, deaf, or stupid in order not to call it. So, going into this Tuesday's game and Saturday's game against the Blue Jackets and the Hurricanes, Brad Malone, during Tuesday's game against the Hurricanes, threw a knee out at Michael Raffl. Penalty is called on the ice. Malone gets a penalty for kneeing. However, Wayne Simmonds did not take very much exception to that knee that was thrown by Brad Malone. So what does he do? And he goes in to back up his teammate. And he starts a fight with Brad Malone. So after that altercation occurs, what would you think that the penalties are dealt out? You would think that the Flyers are going on a power play because of this, right? No. Completely the opposite. Malone gets 2 minutes for kneeing and he gets 5 minutes for fighting. Wayne Simmonds gets 2 minutes. He gets 5 minutes for roughing, 2 minutes for instigation, and a 10-minute misconduct. Let's go to Saturday's game. Same pretty much kind of exact scenario. Jakub Voracek has the puck. Center ice. Brandon Dubinsky, who has been known to throw a couple dirty hits so far this year, he has already had one suspension for as much as I hate Crosby as much as the next person, don't agree with the fact that he cross-checked him pretty much in the back, and then as he's down on the ice, cross-checked him in the fucking neck. He gets 1 game for that. And now this game, Voracek has the puck. Dubinsky knees him, gets a penalty, and what exactly happens again? Wayne Simmonds steps up for his teammate, gets into the fight with Brandon Dubinsky. And what happens? Dubinsky, 5-minute major for fighting, 2 minutes for kneeing. Wayne Simmonds, 5 minutes for fighting, 2-minute instigation, 10-minute misconduct. The instigation penalty in the NHL is the fucking stupidest penalty in the history of the NHL. It does not make any sense to me whatsoever why you call an instigation penalty at all. Now, the reason that the instigation penalty is in there is for certain circumstances that are not the two that happened in Tuesday's game and Saturday's game. The instigation penalty is in there for a player that is trying to start a fight with another player where there hasn't been a dirty hit late or anything along those lines. You usually see the instigation penalties being handed out to like the enforcers and the grinders and players like that. They're just like chirping the other guy, saying like, hey, you want to go for a fight? He starts like checking him and stuff like that, out like way beyond the play and stuff like that, trying to get a fight. Or you saw Zach Ronaldo get a bunch of instigating penalties in the past that the Flyers have. He always used to like throw his gloves down, or he usually always got to. Ronaldo was actually a guy, rather than dishing out instigating penalties, while he did have his fair share. More recently, he had his fair share of getting instigation calls getting called on him, because he would actually have going up against the other team's goon, and he would make the other guy drop his gloves first when he didn't drop his gloves, so that would be an instigation penalty in and of itself. So that's what an instigation penalty should be. An instigation penalty should not be a player sticking up for his damn teammates after a dirty hit was laid. It's stupid. Using this logic, right? So if you're going to be able to lay like a kneeing call or a dirty hit call in the NHL, what is there to stop any player in the NHL from laying any dirty hit in any game whatsoever? If once he lays a dirty hit, there's going to be a teammate from the other team that steps up for him, going to try to start a fight for the guy, and he's going to get called for an instigation penalty. So you're telling me that there could be any player in this NHL that can deliver a dirty hit and not expect a player from the other team to step up for his teammate and defend him for a dirty hit and want to take it out on the other guy? That's dumb. It's stupid. It's a stupid penalty in this game, and it should not be used the way it did. Wayne Simmonds, both occasions, stepped up for his teammates on 2 different kneeing calls. One on Michael Raffl by Brad Malone, one on Brandon Dubinsky on Jakub Voracek. Brandon Dubinsky has had, like I said, has had his history of laying dirty calls, and Simmonds, the guy he is a guy that steps up for his teammate. And you want to know the funny thing else? If Wayne Simmonds gets another instigation penalty, they said he's gonna get suspended. How fucking dumb is this fucking league? How is the Department of Player Safety going to allow that neither of these two guys who are going to get any repercussions whatsoever, but Wayne Simmonds, oh, he just laid a dirty hit. Oh, you're stepping up for your teammates. Oh, instigation penalty. You can't really do that. If you do that again, you're going to get a suspension. How fucking dumb is that? That's so fucking stupid. It's the worst call in the NHL. It's the stupidest penalty in this league, and it should be taken out of this game in circumstances like that. Hey, if you want to call an instigation penalty on a dirty hit that has not been laid and you want to, have like two guys that are chirping it out in the corner away from the play that want to actually start a fight, sure, call an instigation penalty right there. But don't call it when another player delivers a dirty effing hit to one of your guys and another player who is doing the right thing, sticking up for your teammate, and wants to get retribution on that other player. Don't call it a damn instigation penalty for something like that. It's stupid. It's a dumb call. It's dumb. It really is. It should not be in this game. And the fact that the instigation penalty neglects and negates the fact of the dirty hit whatsoever, it's stupid. 2 kneeing calls in 2 out of the 3 games this past week, neither of which were deemed major enough, when the referee was checking on Jake Voracek and he was considering giving Dubinsky a major penalty, but he did not. He gave him a 2-minute minor. But Wayne Simmonds gets 2 separate 10-minute game misconducts for instigation. It's the stupidest penalty in this game, and it really needs to be reevaluated in certain circumstances like that. When something like that happens, give him a roughing call. Roughing, I'll be perfectly fine with. It's just stupid. Well, it's been a while since I went on a rant like that. I bet you a bunch of people were waiting for me to go off on that. Gotta take my time with this one now because I gotta retrain my goddamn thoughts here. Like I said, I've said it on Twitter, man. It's a stupid penalty. It doesn't stop players from. It's a dumb penalty that just negates players from yielding out dirty hits. There's no repercussion for players dealing dirty hits if another player is just going to stick up for them but get an instigation call. And you could see in the game against the Carolina Hurricanes, Wayne Simmonds was pissed off about it, that he got an instigation call against it. Against the Blue Jackets game, he kind of got sent off the ice. But in the Carolina game, he was pissed off. He was cursing at the ref. It was this dumb call. It was really, really dumb call. The refs in the Columbus game were very horrendous. They were bad. Every single one of these past couple games too. Even that Dallas game too, because I think Dallas had so many power plays against the Flyers that game because the refs just have a knack for calling so many penalties on the Flyers as of recently, and they've just been sketchy calls. I believe in that Dallas game and in Columbus's game, the power play differential was just stupid. I think Dallas had 7 penalties for them. The Flyers only had 1 or 2. Columbus game, they had 6 penalties for 6 power plays for Columbus. Flyers only had 2. There's no justice there. And the calls that were being called on the Flyers game in Columbus were just so stupid. Like I said, I try to remain as biased as I possibly can. As a Flyers fan, I want to support my team. I want to support my team, and I want to watch them win. But when there's calls just being not called on this ice, and they're just not being called in this game, I have to call it out. I have to call it out and show you guys exactly what the F I'm talking about, because it's just dumb. There was an interference call. I'm looking up the Columbus game right now because I want to see these penalties that were called and how bullshit they were. So let's get to the penalty summary. Here they are. Ryan Johansson gets called for tripping on Jacob Voracek. That was a good call. That was a fine call. He tripped him up. Dalton Prout boarding against RJ Umberger. I don't remember this call, but if it's boarding, I guess the refs had a viable thing against it. Scott Lawton hooking on Ryan Johansson. Trying to remember this one. I think that's the one where Johansson kind of went through all of our defense, and he didn't really hook him all too much. He kind of got a stick in under his arm. Didn't really hook him in a sense, but I'll let that one go. Wayne Simmonds, instigator misconduct against Dubinsky. The penalty against Dubinsky. Dubes just gets 1 for kneeing. It's so dumb. Fighting. Yep. Calvert and Gudas in that same thing got 2 for roughing, so that kind of offset it again. This one, Claude Giroux interference on Matt Calvert. That one was stupid. This one was so dumb. Puck in the corner. Calvert had the puck. He had the puck. And Giroux, well, actually, no, he didn't have the puck. They were both chasing for the puck. And Giroux's kind of like pushing off on Calvert. Not really pushing off on him, just giving him a little bit shoulder to shoulder. They're fighting for the puck. They're fighting for the damn puck, and the ref calls an interference call on it. Like, give me a goddamn break. Umberger high stick double minor on Clarkson. So Clarkson's like made of glass anyway. So anytime you stick him up high, blood's going to come out. So fine there. Oh man, this call. I remember this one. Oh my God. I cannot believe this was actually called. Matt Reed, goaltender interference on Joonas Korpisalo. This call was so dumb. This call was actually laughable. Matt Reed sliding across the crease, right? He's going off to the right side of the ice and attempts to, I think, tip a shot off from the point. He gets hit as he's cutting across the goaltender. Matt Reed gets hit from the back by one of the defensemen. Pretty sure it was Ryan Murray. He gets hit in the back, or hit off to the side, causing Reed to skate off to the left a bit, run into Korpisalo. Reed gets the goaltender interference call. If that puck would have went in, that probably would have been a good goal, because if they would have reviewed it, they would have seen the hit that got laid on him into the goaltender. They probably would have given whoever shot that puck the goal. But the fact that he got hit from one of the defensemen and into the goaltender, and he gets the interference call, it's just an honest joke. And then Nick Schultz hooking against Cam Atkinson. Whatever. Schultz a shitty defenseman as it is anyway, so it doesn't really matter in my case. So the Flyers lose this game. Done with my rant for instigating of how it is the stupidest penalty in this game. And it really should be, it needs to be taken out, or it just needs to be relooked at in certain circumstances. Because the two circumstances that happened with Wayne Simmonds this past week were just laughable, and they were not needed. It's dumb. Oh, we're trying to cut down on fights in the NHL, so we're going to be dishing out these instigator penalties. Give me a break, man. Such garbage. Such garbage I've ever seen. So, let's go to another topic here. Let's go to the shootout. Flyers suck in shootouts. If you guys didn't know. 3-on-3, they're pretty good. 3-on-3, they're pretty good. You give Ghost the puck on the power in 3-on-3, it's pretty good. Ghost is pretty good on 3-on-3. However, when you go to the shootouts, Flyers just do the same moves over and over and over again in the shootouts. Whether it's Giroux, well, Claude always does something different every time. Claude either likes to go 5-hole, go on the backhand, or do that nasty Datsuk move where he just drags the puck back and then lifts it top shelf. Voracek does the same exact moves in a shootout. He just goes wide. He goes so wide either to the left or to the right, and then tries to shoot a 5-hole. That's what Voracek does. Simmonds has been getting better in shootouts. He was the only person that scored, so I like the moves that Simmonds has been doing. He should be used in shootouts a lot more, so he was good. Lawton in the shootout, Lutz not really too great. Lawton has had a lot of shootout opportunities this year, but he didn't really capitalize on it too much. Matt Reed's just garbage. I don't know why he got a look in the shootout at all. Schenner had a decent move that he tried to beat Korpisalo on, but I think he just missed the net. Why are you... Hackstall's logic when it comes to shootouts is bewildering to me. I think in an interview he said, "Oh well, we just go by the people who had the most experience, have had the most experience in shootouts, and we just go with those guys." That's literally the stupidest explanation for why you pick your players in shootouts. Is the most dumb. Is so dumb. In my opinion, if you want to pick players for a shootout, you go with the youngest players on your team. The youngest players on your team have the best hands on your squad. They're not 25, 26, 27, 28-year-old players that have been, have had like wrist problems or hand problems or anything like that in the past. You take these young guys who know moves, and especially against a rookie goaltender too. You bring these young players in who know how to do certain moves on the goaltender, and they're going to score. I mean, like, it's as simple as that. Obviously, you have your superstars in there to put up really good shootout moves every now and then, but when it comes to a shootout, you got to give the rookie guys a chance. That's why you got to give Ghost a chance. He's been amazing in 3-on-3. He has to have some move in his arsenal. Plus, the guy has confidence going out the wazoo right now. You make him take a shot after Simmons scores there. You make him take a shot after Wayne Simmons scores. Or when Foligno shot the puck, and then you give him a chance to score twice on 2 opportunities when Foligno and Saad both missed. You either give him Lawton's spot or you give him Matt Reed's spot to take a shot. I mean, it only makes sense. It only makes sense to play the rookie there in the shootout. It's been a crazy week for this goddamn Flyers team, full of crazy bullshit, ghost calls. It's just been a crazy week of Ghosts being amazing, terrible refereeing, a stupid penalty that should not be in this game at all. And yet the Flyers are still playing pretty well through all of it. Monday's game against St. Louis. Then they go Sunday against the Ducks, Wednesday against the Sharks, Saturday against the Kings, till they finally come home Tuesday the 5th against the Canadiens. So, it's just been a crazy week for this team. It's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy first year. It's been a crazy 2015 for the Flyers. But the good thing is about this Flyers team is that they have a knack for playing extremely well in January. This team has a very, very good knack of playing extremely well once the new year starts and in January. And they're playing Western Conference teams. They're playing a team like Anaheim, who is struggling this year to score goals of any sort. They're going to play a San Jose Sharks team, that's pretty decent. They're going to play a Kings team that has really been surging right now. They got to play the Canadiens, who are a good team. They got to play the Wild, who are a good team. The Islanders are still doing good. You got to play Boston still next month. Gotta play the Rangers, Detroit, Toronto. That should be an easy win. Pittsburgh, Islanders again, Boston, Washington. So it's going to be a tough schedule for this Flyers team in January, but hopefully the trend of playing very well in January helps this team pay off. So, what else is going on with this Flyers team right now, currently? Let's go take a look in the minors, shall we? The Phantoms are not playing well to an extent. They're playing their usual, I guess you could say, in some aspect. They're playing the way that they have been playing every season for the past couple of seasons. Straka lit it up in the month of December. I mean, this guy was on like a 6 or 7 game goal streak at one point. Straka was playing very, very well. Anthony Stolarz has been playing extremely effing well for the Phantoms this year. I'm about to get up Stoley's stats here for a minute. Let me see if I can get to team player stats. I gotta show you some of these players' stats here for this squad so far. So Nick Cousins is actually leading the team right now, 25 points in 22 games. That's really good. Straka with 22 and 30, 15 goals for Straka so far this year. Once again, it's contract year for Straka, so it makes sense why he wants to play really well, but still, he has to prove that he can make it onto the team next year. Like, if there's going to be any potential trades that the Flyers make, like depth players wise, getting rid of some contracts, guys like Nick Cousins, guys like Pierre Straka, Taylor Lear, they have a chance to make it onto the team. But yeah, Straka and Cousins have been playing very, very well so far for the Phantoms this year. Who else? Chris Connor, depth player. Danik Martel has 10 goals. He's playing really pretty well. Who else? Goborn, Ghost, yeah, we know about that, but he's up here. Who else has been playing really well? How about the defenseman? Morin has been playing pretty good. I know he's been knocking some teeth out. I know that for a fact. He's playing really well for them. Hag has been playing okay. He's a -3 though. Where's Morin at? Morin has 7 points. He's a -3. Patakin, he got lent back down. I know that. Henry, nope. Nobody else really too great. All right, but listen to Stoley's stats so far this year. 20 games played, 12-6, goals against average of 2.17, save percentage of .924. No shutouts. Stoley's playing really well. Anthony Stolarz is playing extremely, extremely well this year. He's really the only reason the Phantoms have been winning games so far. I mean, look at everybody else. Jason LaBarbera, 1-7, goals against average of 3.75. Connor Knapp, he has 1 win, goals against average 4.62. Martin Ouliette, 2 games played, 0-2, goals against average 5.4. The Tendies suck down there. The goaltender prospects, well, they're not even really prospects. They're just like, they're old. They're just like old kind of players that they're not really getting it done. Stoley is having one hell of a comeback year. Stoley played very, very bad last year. It seems like this year, Stoley is giving his team a chance to win, but it just seems like the team struggles at some points to get him goal support. So Stoley's doing a really fantastic job in net, though. Like I said, he's 12-6, 2.0 win-loss ratio. The goals against average hovering around 2. I think he has the best. I think he's the 3rd or the 4th best goaltender in the AHL right now for stats, which is really impressive. And that's going to be good for us in the coming years, without a doubt, because, depending on what happens with Steve Mason, depending on what happens with Neuwirth in the next couple of years, Stoley will eventually, I will guarantee you this, Anthony Stolarz will eventually be a backup goaltender or a starting goaltender for this Philadelphia Flyers team eventually, barring any trades that are made for like a really good goaltender prospect, because I still think the Flyers need another one. Stoley, I think, can be that backup, but I think the Flyers do need that number 1 goaltender prospect that they're still looking for. And, they still have the guys. They have Matej Tomak. They have Sandstrom, who, from my Swedish scout, Jojen, has been playing pretty damn well for Brynäs so far this year for an 18-year-old kid. So eventually when he gets up here to the AHL, I think he'll be really good. But, it wouldn't hurt to get another guy in there. But as for right now, he's holding that Phantoms team down together. Cousins is putting a team on his back. Straka's putting in the goals. And, the Flyers, the Phantoms are actually doing not too bad. What is their record, actually? Let's go to team league standings. Check out what the Phantoms' record is. I believe they are Lehigh Valley. They are 14-15-1. And they are currently in 12th place in their division. Well, 12th best team in the East, I would think. Can I sort it by... I don't think I could sort it by... No, I can't sort it by, like, divisional stats. I probably could if I looked up on Google, but I don't have the time or the patience to do that. So, that's that. Phantoms have been playing good. Stoley just holding it down there in the AHL. So, props to him. Hopefully he continues to play really, really well. Now, let's go to some World Junior talk. Travis Konechny and Travis Sanheim have both been named to the Canadian World Junior team. So that's pretty awesome to see. I'm going to see if I can get the World Junior rosters up here right now to see if who's going to be playing here or not. That is last year's. Don't need that. Let's see here. Looking for the rosters. Oh, I might be able to actually just click on these guys and look at the box score for each team. Stats. Let's see. Can I get all the players here? No. Statistics. Let's see. If I get on statistics. Ooh, I can. Can I look up teams though? Team. Oh, I can. Oh, sweet. Okay, I can look up teams. All right, cool. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cycle through the things there. But still, Travis Sanheim and Travis Konechny have been named to the Canada World Junior team, which is great for them. I think Konechny is playing on the first line in that squad, so that's really awesome for him. It's going to be an awesome experience for him. Continue to tear it up. He's been tearing it up in the CHL so far this year, as has Sanheim. Provorov is playing well. He might be playing for Team Russia. I'll have to see as I'm going to go through the rosters here. But I do think there are some players that are playing for the Flyers too. So nobody on the United States, I know that for a fact. Flyers don't have any American that is playing on their team. If I can remember, I'm just looking through the roster here really quickly. Nobody, I think, is American Flyers. So no. They might have a Swede here, though, but let's see. So Kempe, Nylander, Enkhoff, Carlson. Let's see. Timashov, no. Olofsson, Larson, Forsbach, no. Sweden. Eriksson, Ek, Peterson. Oscar Lindblom is playing for Sweden. Okay, so that's one Flyers prospect right there is Oscar Lindblom. So he's going to be playing for the Swedish team, the World Juniors. So good for him. We go to Slovakia. I don't think the Flyers have any Slovakian players that I know of. No, I don't think they have any Swiss players either. Russia, let's see if Provorov got to the Russian squad or not. Polnov, no. Ivan Provorov did get named to the Russian squad, so that's good for him on defense. So he'll be playing there for Russia. Did anybody else make it? Fazliev? No, it was Fazliev and not Fazliev. No, nothing there. Russia, okay, so nobody there. Finland, do we have any Finnish players? I don't think we do. Mikkonen, Lane, nope. Salo, no for Finland. Sebastian Aho, no. I don't think we have any Finnish players. Denmark, I know for a fact that we don't have any Denmark players, so we can skip through those guys. Czechs, David Case is playing on the Czechoslovakian team, so that's good for David Case. Another prospect there for the Flyers. Tomasek, no, not him. I'm probably going to get to the goaltenders as well eventually. Hopefully we get to them. Let's see. I don't even think the goaltenders pop up. I have to switch to the goal. Oh, it doesn't even show goalies. Well, that's fantastic. Oh, I'll switch it to goaltenders. That will be great there. Zaka, so the Devils have a player right there. So there, and then the Canadian team, obviously, with Travis Konechny and Travis Sanheim. Belarus, I know we have nobody on Belarus. I could skip over Belarus. Okay, so nobody there. Goaltenders. I don't think there's many goaltenders here. Let's see. Go by team. Nobody on USA, obviously. Sweden. Felix Sandstrom is playing for Sweden. All right, so Darude Sandstrom is playing for the Swedish team goaltending, so that's good. So we got a couple Swedes in there. We got Lindblom and Sandstrom for Sweden. We got Provorov for Russia. Konechny and Sanheim for, Provorov and Case for Russia. No, Case is Czechoslovakian. That's right. Case is Czechoslovakian. And then we have Konechny and Sanheim for the Russian squad. Like I said, just double checking these goaltenders. I don't think there's anybody else here. Let's see. Nope. Blackwood, Kubalov, yep. Okay, so those are all the Flyers prospects that will be playing in the World Juniors this coming in the couple coming weeks. I actually think they are playing right now, actually. So it'll be interesting to see how good those Flyers prospects do in the World Juniors. And honestly, I got to root for my boys Konechny and Sanheim without a doubt. They're definitely the closest to being on this Flyers team. So I definitely have to root for those guys and give some awesomeness to my Canadian brethren. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this podcast, guys. I did, I had everything. Talked about the Flyers, how good they've been playing. I ranted for a good bit. Talked about the Phantoms, how good they've been playing. Did some World Junior stuff. And I'll be back hopefully in the next 2 weeks where we'll analyze some stuff. I might take a little bit of a break for the holidays, but we should be back maybe after that Islanders game, I think. So January 9th, 10th, around there is when you guys might be able to see a next podcast here. And before I go, guys, I just wanted to mention that there is a possibility for this podcast to have up to 3 possible guests for the next time we do it. I reached out to a couple of guys who also do a Flyers podcast. And hopefully, I'll be able to work something out with them, and we might get 3 possible guests for the next podcast on the show so that we can actually have some good banter, throw some more ideas out there for, obviously, the Flyers fans out there. And I think that'll really help with the podcast. I'll bolster it up, and I'll give some exposure for those guys as well, because they're actually pretty good. They don't have a big following yet, but, giving them some exposure on my channel, I think will really give a bolster to them. And if you guys enjoy my podcast or any of my content, then I'm fairly confident that you guys will enjoy theirs as well. So make sure to look out for that on the 9th or the 10th of January, whenever we have the chance to do that another podcast from then. But for right now, I think that's where I'm going to call it. We'll have to see how this Flyers team does. We'll see if they continue that trend of really good play in January. We'll take a look at the prospects in the World Juniors. We'll see how good they're playing. And we'll hopefully see if the Phantoms can actually turn some stuff around, start playing better. And let's see if Simmons will get a suspension for instigation. So dumb. But that'll do it for the podcast, guys. Remember, if you want to leave a like, comment, subscribe as always on the channel. Make sure you use the hashtag Flyers Talk. Podcast is available on SoundCloud if you guys want to listen to it there. And that should be it. So thanks for taking the time to listen, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to have some guests on the podcast next time around that we do this. And hopefully we'll see you guys in January. So happy Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year, because I won't be able to do another podcast for you guys until the next New Year. So hope you guys have an awesome New Year. Stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. And we'll see you guys in 2016 to see what pleasures await this Philadelphia Flyers team. So thanks for listening, guys. I'll see you next time. Happy New Year.